Okay, we're gonna continue with our sharing. So, I guess Eric, gonna go first. So, Eric, can you turn on your mic?
Yes, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So hi everyone. My name is Eric Du. I received Tao about 7 years ago at the Happy Buddha Precious Temple in Flushing, New York. I'm currently living and working in McKinney, Texas, which is a suburb about 30 minutes north of Dallas, Texas. And I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share my Tao experience with you all today. So my Tao journey started about 7 years ago when I was brought to see the temple for the first time with my wife Christine and her parents, transmitter Lynn and lecturer Xu. Um, since that was my first time at the temple, I wasn't really sure what to expect, and I was just kind of curious to learn more about the temple that Christine went to every Sunday. Uh, So that day, I remember coming into the temple, and in the morning, I was sitting in the back of the Little Angels class, of the kids class, and the teacher was teaching in Chinese, and my Mandarin Chinese is not very good, so I didn't really understand what was happening, and I felt kind of awkward since the teacher was teaching something and I didn't understand what she was saying, and basically because I was twice the age of all the other students in that class. So the same day, fast forward a couple hours, right after lunchtime was when the Tao receiving ceremony for me was about to start. I was the only male member receiving Tao that day, so I felt like everyone was just kind of staring at me. Um, so I felt kind of nervous being up there doing all the bows and repeating all the um, all the bows after the announcer and transmitter. Uh, I think in my head I was thinking like, oh my God, don't mess this up because everyone's watching. And I thought if I mess up, people will either like laugh at me or I'll be in trouble. Not sure why I thought that though. But after the dowry ceremony was completed, I learned about the three treasures, and I thought overall it was pretty interesting because it wasn't something that I've heard before. So that was kind of my first encounter with the Tao, and I didn't really start coming to the temple regularly until the following year, because I was still finishing up my last year of college in Illinois. So after I graduated from college and I moved to New Jersey to start my new job, that's when I started going to temple every Sunday with Christine and her parents to attend the English class. As I learned more and more about the Tao, I think the things that really kind of resonated with me were some of the Tao principles and the fundamental concepts that were taught, like things like filial piety, vegetarianism, and self-reflection. Um, in these 7 years, I haven't had like a life-changing event or moment that has happened to me, but I do feel that the Tao has taught me to appreciate the things in life and life in general more. So I've always respected my parents for what they had to overcome to be able to provide for me and my three siblings. But my actions at that time when I was in college, it didn't really reflect what I felt. Once I learned about filial piety during the Dharma class, I started to think more about how I can show my gratitude and appreciation for all the sacrifices that my parents had to make in order to put their four kids through college. Especially in college, I would never be the one to call my parents. It was always them calling me. But since I moved away from them and started working, I tried my best to call them at least once a week just to check in with them and see how they're doing. And they still live in Illinois, so I try to go back and visit every few months. But because of like the coronavirus and COVID and everything, I haven't really been able to go back recently. So these weekly check-in calls are becoming more and more important. Um, yeah, so I think filial piety was always something in the back of my mind, but it wasn't until I heard the class that I really started to make it a priority for me, and it kind of brought to light just how important my parents really are to me. Um, so So I grew up in like a Taishanese and Cantonese household. So we ate a lot of different kinds of food, like with fish and meats. So I really never thought in the past that I would have adopt a plant-based diet. And it didn't help that my parents both owned a Chinese restaurant, so we ate at the restaurant a lot. But when I moved to New Jersey, Christina and her parents took me out to a bunch of vegan restaurants just to show me how good vegan food could be. And I was very surprised that what they could do at these restaurants, right? I think that being exposed to all this good vegan food very early on in my journey to becoming a vegan, kind of made the transition much more easy for me. I think at that time I thought like, hey, this stuff is pretty good. Like I think I can be a vegetarian if all my meals are like this. So I started to challenge myself to eat a more plant-based diet. So in the beginning, I wasn't really aware of all the benefits of a plant-based diet. I was only doing it to see if I could. But as I kind of continued doing it and as time went on, I learned more and more about these benefits, and it just started to make more sense to me that I should continue to do this. So over time, this became like the new normal for me, and I didn't really see it as like losing the ability to eat meat or other animal products in my diet, but instead, like it's made me become more creative with what I cook by like seeking and adding different flavors to what I cook. And I can talk a lot more about the benefits of a plant-based diet, but I think overall, it's definitely one of the most important things that we can do as people, not only to benefit ourselves, but also to have a positive impact on the entire world on our journey as Dao cultivators. But that's all I had to share today. I appreciate everyone listening. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Yeah, Eric, you can talk about your temple.
So I think it was like 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago. Christine and I, we opened a home temple here in McKinney, Texas.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And they're only like he's 29, I think, right?
Yeah, we're turning 29 this year.
Yeah. So very young. I mean, I don't know. You might be the youngest people that I know of, anyways, that set up a temple. So.
Yeah. And then it's worked out nicely. Yeah. And then since Eric came to New Jersey, he started to have vegetarian food with all of us. So it worked out from the day one. So I tell you, I respect that. It's not easy, even myself. And then 2 weeks ago, they decided to set up the home temple to help the whole area, the people in their area. So hopefully that work out nicely. So we will hopefully one day they can bring more people to receive Dao. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eric. The next member will be from 奉天宫 lecturer Yang.
点传师好，各位前贤，大家晚上好，早上好。
杨讲师好。
Hi, transmitters. Hi, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
后学杨东东，后学学习于台湾新竹奉天宫。
Yan is from Taiwan, right? 新竹。
记得广清和尚曾在一次的演讲中。
So she remembered Dharma Master Guangqing doing one of his lecture.
提出对于修六度万行的另外一番的见解。
So he mentioned about the 6 Paramitas of his views.
修行之人该从何修行起呢
So as a cultivator, where should we start cultivating?
就从六度万行中的布施持戒，
So we should start from the sixth paramita, giving and precepts.
忍辱精进，
忍辱
That's like
tolerate.
forbearance.
禅定智慧中修起，
and then concentration, right? And there was like 精进. 精进 is diligent.
Progress.
Yeah, diligent effort. Yeah.
And then wisdom too. Yeah.
好，一个人如果他很尽心的，很卖命的在做事情，这表示布施。
So if a person is really diligent in doing something, then that is a form of giving.
就是拼了最后一口气，也在所不惜。
So even to the last breath, and they still were willing to do it.
这要非常的精进。
So this is it's basically they need to be very diligent.
结果又被人家嫌，这就是修忍辱。
So and yet at the same time that people will like look down on them.
结果又被人家人家开口嫌，但是我们心没有动或难过。
So even if other people look down on us, then but we doesn't get sad or get angry or.
Some people complain. Yeah. Complain. Yeah.
不了哈，这是修禅。
So this is a cultivation of concentration.
没有动心，没有动口，对他回嘴，这就是持戒。
So not having wavering your heart or mind and would not mouth back, and that is also a form of precept.
如果我们想得开，将那一口气忍了下来，
If we were able to calm ourselves and be forbearing,
这表示你有智慧。
then it means that you have wisdom.
这就是所谓的六度总修。
So this is what they say about the sixth paramita cultivation.
对错好坏，嘴不要乱说，自己心里明白就好了。
So whether it's right or wrong, good or bad, as long as we know that's fine. We should not talk about it.
老典禅师我们富年宫老典禅师在归空前，常常对后学谆的教诲。
So the senior transmitter, when he was alive, he always 教诲 advise lecture Yan.
在修办的过程中，不能忘记修办的5个原则跟方向。
So in the path of cultivation, we cannot 不能什么？对不起。
不能忘记修办的5个原则跟方向。
So we should not forget about 5人就是
principles.
Oh, okay. 5 principles. The direction of the 5 principles.
第一，饮水思源。
The first is about know the source of the water So pretty much, I guess this, yeah.
With gratitude. Yeah.
第二，敬老尊贤。
The second is to respect the seniors and the worthy ones.
第三，尊师重道。
The third is to respect the holy teachers, masters. Yeah, and then value the Tao.
第四，承上启下。
The fourth is to 承上启下. Make sure you report to the seniors and then guide the juniors.
Good.
第五，谨守活规。
The fifth is to abide by all the rules and regulations.
感谢天恩师德。
And thanks grace of heavens and virtues of masters.
感谢各位前贤给后学学习的机会。
Thanks everyone to give her this to learn.
感恩的心，谢谢。
Thank you.
很好，杨讲师，能够把6度波罗蜜 6 precepts link together, that's great. Yeah.
谢谢你，谢谢金讲师，谢谢各位前贤。
Yeah.
Thank you. 谢谢杨讲师。
Yeah.
So, okay. 点传是有什么要补充的吗？
Yeah, I think the lecture Yang has been pretty good. Talk about 6 precepts. Link all those and link all together. I think that's a great way to know that. Usually we talk about one after the other one, 6 independently, but she can link all together. That's a great way to learn. That's good. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So next member sharing tonight will be Jill.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jill.
You can, okay. All right, everyone can hear, right? Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Thanks to the grace of heaven, virtuous masters, grand predecessor, and predecessor, thanks to the mercy and compassion of the transmitters, and everyone here for giving me the opportunity to share my story from last year's summer trip back to Taiwan.
Jill, can you talk about how long have you been in the temple, and then what's the situation you have in your family temples?
We have our home temple in 2017. Actually, Eddison's gonna say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Edison gonna mention about that. I told him I will save that for him to speak. Okay.
Yeah, because we got so many people from different backgrounds, even include people from Taiwan. So we want to share some experience with them because they did not know us. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So this is about the I guess the latest story that I have from my end. It was last year's summer trip back to Taiwan, because it seems like every time we go back to Taiwan, there's always something happening. So almost every summer since I received Tao in May 2014, I wanted to travel back to Taiwan to visit my father. He was a forgotten person in my life in the past because of the family issues. However, during the winter of 2014, I went back and asked him to receive Tao. Even I have not seen him for about 10 years. So I was awkward at the time, and I didn't know how to begin. It was the first time for my kids to see their grandfather too. I thank to the grace of heaven and virtuous masters that he didn't give me a hard time So both of my father and his wife received Tao in Tongigong that winter. In the summer of 2015, I went back again and took him to the first Dharma class in Yifogong, together with my oldest sister's son, who received Tao and attended his first Dharma class there as well. Then summer 2016 and 2017, and if time permits, we would attend the Dharma class. So to make a long story short, last year, summer, he almost died from choking while eating at a vegetarian restaurant. We arranged to meet there for dinner, then would drive back together to his house. It was the first dish that came out on the table. And usually my aunt or his wife watches what food he should be taking, since he has Parkinson's disease that affected his speech and the muscle function of his throat. It was fine for the first bite, but the second bite, he was not able to swallow it down. At the time, I was on his left and my aunt was on his right. He made the gagging, the gagging, choking sound, and my aunt tried to help him to remove the food from his throat. Nothing came out. So I actually witnessed his lips turned color from red to purple and into black. Then he lost conscious. My kids were scared, and one ran away. No one seemed to know what to do, and because everyone was in shock. So at the time, I was relying on my aunt, who could make the decision about what to do. But she was in a total panic mode. She repeated the same words over and over by saying, what should we do? You can't leave us yet. So I took the initiation to quickly ask the people at the restaurant to call the ambulance. Before the ambulance arrived, 3 or 4 men from other tables tried to perform the abdominal thrusts. That's the Himalaya maneuver, which one goes behind the victim and put his fist between the navel and the rib cage and applies sudden pressure inward. So 2 men was holding his arms because the lost conscious body was not able to stand nor sit. Then 1 person was performing the Himalaya maneuver. Nothing happened. He was on the floor, unconscious, for some time before the ambulance people showed up. No one can do anything. About at least 10 minutes has gone by before the ambulance arrived. So when they arrived, they checked his breathing and flipped his eyelid open and quickly attached a pumping device on his chest to pump his heart. Then 5 men carried him downstairs from a 3rd floor by stairs. The elevator was too small. I sat next to him while my aunt was sitting the front passenger seat in the ambulance. I looked at him and I prayed for God. I used the I used the 5 words. The 5 words that I had in doubt. Upon arriving to the ER, my aunt told the nurses that they can open his throat if necessary to remove whatever to remove whatever that was there in order to save his life. So about less than 10 minutes, the doctor came out and told us that his throat passage has been cleared. They used a long, thin tube to suck out a few stuff that were in his throat. It was a piece of soft cucumber and a few semi-chewed up rice. He was admitted to the hospital for further observation, just in case if the complications of a prolonged unconsciousness can be severe. I want to thank to the grace of heaven and virtuous masters. I really thought that I was going to help him prepare a funeral and arrange a short-term leave on work. Fortunately, my father was rescued and released from the hospital with no further complications. That was related to his prolonged unconsciousness. Earlier, I had mentioned that I had in doubt about the 5 words to be said, that it can be used as a SOS. Not now, I don't. Going back to what happened, I used the 5 words or the mantra ever since the time when my father was struggling, then became unconscious, watched his body fall on the floor, carried into the ambulance, sent ER, while waited outside the ER and tried to call my aunt, and until he was no longer life-threatened. I remember that I didn't stop, even I was talking with my aunt. When I thought about what happened, I was not sure how I was calm and very calm. One thing I do know by now, that I no longer having doubt for the force it possesses. That is all I have to share with everyone tonight. Thank you.
Jill, that's a great story. It's nice and beautiful, touching stories. It makes us cry. Yeah. So, yeah, I think Holy Teacher talked to us with 5 words we can use regularly. Don't wait until the emergency case. Sometimes even we forgot to use. So we need to practice and then regularly in our heart, in our mind. So we know when it's necessary, when it's emergency, we can use it. So that's great news, great story. Thank you. Yeah, no,
Thank you.
Eddison and you have so many stories you can tell us. I know. So it's great to hear one of them. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Transmitter Lynn. I looked it up what the SOS means. You know, it can be save our ship or it can save our souls. I know it's a help signal, but I never knew what it means exactly.
Yeah, no, it's nice. Yeah, it's great. Yep.
So Jill,
Thank you.
So your father was not breathing from basically from the restaurant all the way until to the ER.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long?
Yeah.
Minutes to get to them.
Well, I wasn't really looking at the time, but because of the situation, it really did feel a long time. And after everybody tried, whoever wanted to try to help, they came up and helped. Then they gave up because they just couldn't do anything. And you see from that and waiting until the ambulance people actually showed up, that felt like forever.
Yeah. So he is normal right now, right?
Yeah, he is. He has his issues, health issues, but that's not related to that. That's something that he has to.
Sometimes
That he's
the time you waited in a restaurant and then the time to the ER, this long time, and then you could, because lack of oxygen, so could damage our brain sometimes. So
Yeah.
pretty fortunate. God bless you. God bless your father. It's beautiful. Nice to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I never have any doubt with the 5 words anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good news. Yeah. Great story. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I would like saying that Jill forgot to mention Dr. Song is over 80 years old, and the restaurant is nearby the hospital. So all that kind of helped him to stay alive. So I will share my part now. Thanks to the grace of the heaven, predecessors, and transmitters, and everyone here to give me this opportunity to share my story about doubt. So I'm going to go back a little further because Jill's already shared part of the story about her father. I am a software engineer. That's my professional. So I am a Catholic for many years. I usually go to Bible studies with the Catholic group. I go to the church every Sundays. And I also participate in a Christian youth Bible study. So I also have faith in God, a lot of it. But for a while, I started to distance from the Catholic Church because they have too many rules and too strict. And it made me doubt what kind of religion was Catholic. At the same time, there was a lot of incidents related to the Catholic Church. So that kept me away from the church. So about the same time and everything that's going on, I met Jill. This is my early 30s. Then when Jill and I would start going out and dating. So this is early 30s. So things got moved really fast after I met Jill. So in 2006, we get married. And then a couple years later, we have 2 kids. So life is very busy. As any Asian parents, we load up our kids' activities. So every single day they have something on judo, tennis, music, swimming, Chinese. Mention it, we have it in the schedule. So our schedule every single day is pretty much doing something with the kids. So how do we get involved with that with our schedule so busy? Just by one day, Jill has to go to her doctor, and she sees the vegetarian restaurant at in Flushing. So she decides to go there and transmit it. Though she's there, so she talked to Jill, and she's like, "Okay, I will go check out the temple." She said that at that day, then we should be sit down on that day. If something happened to her. So when she told that, the rest of the family was, okay, we'll go visit on that same weekend. So we're pretty much on, I think she received out on Thursday, and we received it out on a Saturday. So the whole entire family, we have received out by then. This is 2014. So keep in mind, things is going to be moving very fast from 2014 to now. So in 2014, we received out. We will start studying. We're going to start going to the temple on the Sundays. But because our kids' schedules are very tight, and every single day we have something, we were limited to going to the temple on the time that we wanted. For whatever reason, our schedule on Sundays became clear. There was nothing scheduled anymore. The swimming was changed from Sunday to Saturday. any other activities that we had on Sunday got moved out to another day. So our schedule, for whatever reason, it became clear on Sundays. So we started going to the temple periodically on Sundays. So, so this is 2014. We become very involved with the temple. Jill takes the vegetarian vow, I think on the same year, 2014 or 2015. 2014, 2015. Our kids are on the Sunday class every Sunday. So, and then Jill and I, we take the class member vow, I guess, on the spring of 2015. And moving forward quickly, at 2016, well, Jill already took the vegetarian vow. So on 2016, Jill takes the temple host vow, and I take the vegetarian vow and the temple host vow at the same time. So that is a big step. So we, in our mind, we have 3 years planned to get our temple ready. So this is 2016. So we had to be done by 2019. So on that year, 2016, that's the summer we go back to Taiwan and we start to buy all the stuff that we need for the temple. We start buying the statues, we buy the lamps, pretty much everything that we needed for the temple. Unfortunately, things got too heavy. We could not bring everything back at the one trip. So we had to leave stuff in Taiwan and go back again and bring things back to our temple. So this is 2016, right? So I'm trying to keep that on my mind. So in 2016, we are, sorry, we're starting getting stuff ready 2015. Anyway, between 15 and 16. On 2016, we have a car accident. We were driving back home from a trip and we had a tire blowout. We were going about 75 miles an hour and the car is totally destroyed. We were very lucky because there was a barrier that blocked us from going over the hill. If it wasn't for the barrier, we probably would not be around. The barrier basically stopped the car from going over. So that was in January 26th. So at that point, there was some urgency for us to get the temple ready. So on that 2016, when we go back to Taiwan, we get everything that we need for the temple and we bring it back to the United States. There was just one problem. We don't have the table. The table, as everyone knows, one has to be high, one has to be lower. And we could not get that in the United States. Jill tried to call all the furniture stores in Queens and in Manhattan, all the Chinese Oriental stores, to see if they have a temple table that we could use as our temple. And none of them carry it. So this is 2016 now. So we tried to go online looking for the table, but the shipping to get over here was way more expensive than the tent itself. The table probably was about $500 to $700. The shipping was $2,000 to $3,000. We were like debating, should we pay $3,000 for a table that, you know, to get it over here. So this is 2016 now, right? So trying to keep in my mind. So in 2016, we are desperate for looking for a table because we were planning. So okay, we already have the stuff that we need for the temple, but we don't have a table yet. So we had to look for maybe building our own table. I think someone from the temple built their own table to set up the temple. We were thinking about that. But in April 2017, a furniture store near the temple, they just got a shipment of the tables that became available just in April 2017. We they say, okay, we have some tables. So we look at the table and we buy the table on that day. So we now have everything ready for the temple opening. This is May 2017. So in May 2017, we have a Dharma class. And what we have there, the 3 talents are coming as well for the Dharma class. So we were lucky enough to have the 3 talents to help us initiate our temple. This is was one thing that we were in our mind, keep in mind, and we were very happy that we had our temple ready. So I'm going to try to share our temple as I can. Okay, do you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our home temple from 2017. So the statues, the frame, everything that's there, all from Taiwan, with the exception of the table. That was the item that we had the hardest time to get it. It took us almost 2 years to get a table, and we were able to. So for us to get this temple up, it took almost like 2 years. From getting everything, statues, to the lamps, and the table. So for us, it was not as easy. But we're happy. I think that the temple helped us a lot. And this is our temple. So, any questions?
Eddison, you can talk quickly in short about the visit the doctors in Taiwan.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good story. Yeah, we can keep the story short, but good to share. Yeah.
Okay, it's almost 10 o'clock, so I'll keep it short. So this is temple in 2017. In 2018, 2018. So in 2018, I was skiing with my kids. I think I had, I think during the skiing day. So, we went to check my doctor in the United States to see what's going on. In his condition, he said, well, probably nothing to worry about it, so don't worry about it, nothing's going to be happening. So we just ignored the thing and just went our way. So that summer, 2018, we were in Taiwan for another break again, and we went in the mountains, Jiufan. I think it's Jiufan. That we were there, and Jill was starting having problems with her leg, and she could not, bear the pain. So luckily, her sister knew a doctor in Taipei that was a specialist in foot. So she made it an appointment. Just because she was making an appointment with the doctor there, I said, why not making the heart appointment with the heart doctor in Taiwan? Take a look at what's going on with my heart. So because the Jill's foot was hurting, we went to see a doctor in Taipei. So Jules go see a doctor, I go see the cardiologist, and the cardiologist in Taiwan says, there's something going on in your heart, you need more tests. I said, okay, but we're going to be leaving Taiwan in another week. So we had to make this appointment like really quick. So the doctor was able to schedule a blood stress test like the next day. And we went to the doctor, did the stress test. The doctor said, there's something abnormal. We still need more tests. But this test is going to cost you like $800 or US dollars. It's not being covered for the health insurance card. And I said, well, like $800 for a heart test. But he really, really wanted us to take the test because this test would give indication if there's anything wrong with the heart. Again, because we're leaving back to the United States in a week, He had to schedule the appointment really fast. So this is a Thursday. Wait, sorry. The stress test is on Wednesday. This other test where they inject the radiation is on Thursday. So we go and do another test on Thursday. We do the test. The doctor says there's something abnormal. We need to do one more test. But this test, it will take a day, or if it happens to indicate a blockage, they have to do surgery right there. And they said, well, when can we do this? They said they had to schedule for the next month or next week. Well, I said, we were leaving to back to the United States next week. So the doctor told us that we should not fly because it could be very dangerous, that I could have a heart attack any moment. So I called my U.S. doctor, indicating what the doctor told me. Against the U.S. doctor told me there's nothing to worry about it, that you should be okay to fly back to the United States, and I scheduled an appointment with him as soon as we come back. So we are flying back on Monday. On Tuesday, I have an appointment with my cardiologist. I showed the exams that they did in Taiwan. He is not convinced that it's an emergency situation, so he's not worried about it. We tried to convince him that they made it this very urgent that we need to see a ER doctor or something the next day. After a while, convincing the doctor, we tried to convince the doctor. He finally agreed that it's fine. We should go to the ER doctor on Wednesday and tell them that I have a heart condition or heart problem, or heart pain, chest pain, sorry. We go to the doctor on Wednesday. We give all the exams paper that we did in Taiwan to the doctor over there. They said they need to do exam at 11 o'clock. I think they had to insert I'm not exactly sure, a camera isotopes into it. At that point, those doctors agreed that my heart, it was about to go up. I have about to have a heart attack any moment. I should not leave the hospital. So let's see, that's 11 o'clock on Wednesday. They scheduled me for a bypass surgery on Thursday. So remember, we flew back on Monday. We saw my cardiologist on Tuesday, went to the ER on Wednesday. I had a bypass surgery on Thursday.
Wow.
So this is just because Jill's foot, she was having pain on it. Keep in mind that after I saw the doctor, her pain disappear. So it was not for me just go to see the doctor, but it was something more important that it's not just to see Jill's foot, but it was something was going on with my heart. So long story short, I no longer see that old cardiologist anymore. I have a new cardiologist, and I have a bypass. And this is what, a year? It has been a year now. Year and a half.
Thank God. Yep. Wow. See that? Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you. I know you guys have a lot of good story from your family. And it's beautiful. You set up a family temple at home too. So God watch. God bless you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Good story. Yeah.
Thank you, Eddison, for sharing.